Hey Virgo, how you doing? Doing a late night session today. It's 11 p.m. and oh man, I've been waiting on doing your reading for a while because there's a lot of energy shift, isn't there? You feeling it? Anyway, this is Hangin with Virgo. This is the very end of October into November and December of 2019. So this is the energies finishing off your year. And hanging with Virgo means you're hanging out with me. Hanging out, I kind of do a different kind of style. I mix astrology and tarot and just hang out a little bit. I like long format because sometimes I like to lay in bed and just listen to someone talk. So that's what I'm creating for you. If you want something more straightforward or just straight tarot or straight astrology, there's plenty of videos out there. But if you want to hang out and chit chat with me, then this is a good place to be. So I finished off all the first half of the zodiac, and then about a week ago I stopped and I was tuning into Virgo for like a week. There's a lot going on, so there's a lot of layers to it. And primarily after the last eclipse, which was in August of 2019, the summer, we shifted and entered a new doorway, which has opened up this whole new direction. Um, it's multi-level, so it's not the easiest to explain, but basically there's kind of a big opening, a big void, a transit point. You might liken it to kind of a layover at the airport or something where you're not where you're from and you're not at your destination, and it's that kind of in-between period where it can feel a little surreal. You might have to find a place to get comfortable and sleep in a chair. You might meet some random people from different places in the world, different backgrounds, different views, and hang out and have a beer with them. You might be exposed to all sorts of new things in new environments. Um, so for me personally, the reason I'm doing the video right now at 11 p.m. is just 5 minutes ago, I finished 19 days of nonstop cleaning. And with the work that I do, I work independently from home. This isn't my primary work. I do like brand development, graphic design. And we've had a few jobs, but kind of mostly we're just wrapping up some gigs. And so I've had some extra time. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about Virgo in general. I'm a Virgo. And there's been a lot of a quiet time, a lot of alone time for me. And I'm somewhat of a minimalist. I live in a little house. I don't really participate in society in a lot of ways that most people do. I just keep things simple, have nice things, and try to eat simple, live simple, not have too much because it weighs me down kind of vibe, you know? So I'm already pretty sparse to begin with, but it was just kind of driving me nuts. And primarily it was I wanted to be able to sweep and mop in every corner of my place without like there being a wire or like a computer cable or some a table, something in the way. So it was just like driving me crazy. And then when I moved 4 or 5 years ago, I still had some like old long-term storage stuff. So I have a couple of bins outside because my little house is pretty small. And so I had some boxes, those old boxes that sit around as stuff from when you were a teenager or whatever. And so I got this kooky idea to empty out my entire house into the front yard and also my storage units. Like two smaller. I have a storage unit that's more long term, which is a little bit bigger. It's probably, I don't know, 6 by 2. 8x3. I don't know, something like that. And then I have a smaller one, so it'd be like 5x2, something like that, maybe 5x2 or something like that. And that's for more immediate stuff like excess water, drinks, toilet paper, paper towels, anything that's kind of extra supplies that tripods, things like just take up space in my little place. And so I did it. I just got this bug, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna empty out my entire house, both my storage units, and put it out in my front yard. And I thought it would be like 3 days to get it all out there, sort through it, and then put it back. Anyway, today, like I said, just 10 minutes ago, I finished 19 days of it. So there's some other variables involved with that, but anyway, it's been 19 days straight. That includes everything. Everything. Went through, sorted through, had a giveaway pile, a trash pile, a keep pile. I had to go through every cable, every wire, every piece of clothes. And went through all the memories of both my kids and made storage boxes for them. I went through all my old photos, including family members and all sorts of stuff that are very emotional, things at different times in my life. And so it was this literally complete review of everything I own and symbolically what that represents to me. So it was this deep time of inner reflection of what I represented and what I represent now, what I value now, what I don't value now, things I've lost that I used to value that maybe if I brought back into my life would bring back another part of who I am. So it was deep. It was really deep. And, very Saturnian, cleaning, organizing. So, and then even before then, I was doing a number of weeks of audio archiving of all sorts of old family tapes. My family had a lot of kind of spiritual readings with a particular fellow named Kevin Ryerson. So we were going through all the old tapes of readings and old tapes of music that I made my whole life and music my brothers have made, and old tapes of us talking to each other, or drum circles, jamming together. And like any family, we can have strained relationships in some areas, so it's been like that. So it's been pretty much 3 months since August of just this complete review of my life that I've never had before in any way. So the only reason I'm sharing it with you is I know for some of you, I have a Cancer rising, so maybe people more in that area, or Capricorn kind of area, or anything trining that or squaring that might have similar influences in some way of some kind of deep review, or a deep review on other levels. Mine was very outright in the physical world. Maybe for you it was very internal. But, it's a really interesting time for Virgo. I feel like it's one of the visuals I got earlier was like an octopus, from the past, and its tentacles are like shooting forward into this time, and you're like, I don't want these tentacles anymore. Or, basically just sorting through things, and maybe there's things from the past that you don't really need anymore that you need to put in the giveaway box or in the trash can. And I think in some cases for people, putting it back in the trash where it came from, if you know what I mean. So I had a friend who said that. I like that. She would say, I'd say something self-effacing or not helpful, and she'd be like, you need to put that back in the trash where it came from. So I always thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, deep review, deep rewind, sorting things out, seeing what works, what doesn't. there may be a lot of things that are even okay, but they're just stagnant. And so you have to, just like items that when you review items, you can have stuff that you're like, and I went through this because I was going just like, I'm going to go deep, minimal. I'm going to get rid of 80% I own, what I own. And I did get rid of the majority, maybe half. Yeah, maybe half, maybe more than half what I own. But there's those things that in our lives, it can be a relationship, it can be a romantic partner, it can be a job, where it's like it's not so bad, but it's also not really giving you the growth that you need or serving you in a higher way also anymore. That sometimes the ground can be kind of stagnant, and it's time to kind of working to move forward a little bit. So you might be revisiting the same relationship, because it's better than nothing or something like that. So anyway, I'm bringing out my newer deck for you guys. I've been doing my OG Rider Tarot deck for the first 6. But I don't know. I just feel like there was this big shift of energy moving into the Virgo zone. Usually I pull a card first to get the general theme of it, but it was just like, I don't even need it with you guys right now. So, there's this kind of like deep review. You're sitting in the airport. When is my flight coming? Is it delayed again? Is it ever going to come? What's happening? Is this all worth it? What am I doing? I'm working to do all this, I'm doing all this stuff, but is it amounting to anything? Where am I heading? Blah, 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 blah. So, it's just, I think that what's important is that this is just a natural process. Now, what I do find really interesting is that typically when you do a lot of cleanup work like this, you find yourself moving into a new cycle of growth or opportunity or something like that. Now, this is an interesting one because whatever this cycle is for you personally, this is leading right up to Mercury retrograde, starting on Halloween, or within a day or so of Halloween. I don't know exactly what it is. So, which is obviously the planet that rules Virgo, Mercury, planet of communication. Now, whatever your ascendant is, will show you what house or what influence that's going to have in your life. Most astrologers do readings for Virgos, and then they tell you it's, in this particular house, and it doesn't make any sense because that's assuming that you have a Virgo ascendant or a Virgo rising, which you probably don't. Some people might, but it'd be a rare case. So I'm not going to tell you what house it's in, but you could look. You could say, look and see where Mercury is. Actually, that's a really good question. I've already been going through my Mercury retrograde stuff. I just got my phone back today. I had that issue. I guess Apple did a recall for something called Ghost Touch, where your screen just starts doing its own thing. It's like the multi-touch layer just starts doing its own thing. So I didn't have a phone for a whole week last week while I'm doing all this review and cleaning. It was just such a great experience and a great feeling to just have that solitude and that peace. So maybe you're feeling some of the similar themes, maybe not. I don't know. But Halloween's coming up. Just a few more days. And Virgos need to get out and connect with people. We've been doing this major like all these transitions and transformations, and all of a sudden then we get to this one where it's just like this big void of figure it out, but there's a process happening. So I was going to look up and see what house this Mercury retrograde is going to be in for me as a Cancer ascendant. And it appears to be right at the end of the 5th house, moving into the 6th house. Oh God, I don't need 6th house anymore. I've already got Jupiter in there, expanding my health issues. So So anyway, it's a good, if you have a Cancer ascendant, it's a good time to just really be taking care of yourself and taking it easy. And look at, I found this hat when I was cleaning. I don't usually wear this. It was just starting to get kind of chilly. I thought, hey. And my appearance also, this is a whole other level of these videos for me. I used to do videos before, and I do a lot of video professionally, and I used to be so obsessed with the perfect everything, perfect lighting, perfect cameras. I have like a real high-end like Blackmagic camera, all this stuff. But it was just so much work. And also, I didn't really feel like I was being authentic. So when I do these videos, like I'm literally just sort of been wearing all day. You know, I have one light I turn on, and this is on my MacBook, the camera. And so this is a part of me wanting to move into just trying to be more authentic, create a more easygoing, peaceful environment for myself, get a little more like honest about where I'm coming from, and just kind of flow and see what happens and be more natural. So that's another part that's really, you know, happening for me. Again, you could have some Virgo tendencies in that direction also, but for me, I think a lot of that's has to do with my Cancer ascendant opposing with the stuff going on in Capricorn with Pluto and Saturn and all that stuff. There's just a lot of like, yeah, so 6th house. So anyway, so let's maybe dig into anyway, Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde, that's coming up. That's going to be till, I think it starts Halloween or right around then. It goes till like November 20th. And so, as most people already know, I'll just give a quick review. Mercury retrograde is when the planet Mercury appears to be going backwards in the sky temporarily for 3 weeks. It's not actually going backwards, it's just a rotation of the planets. It's symbolic of a retrograde period is when, instead of outer activity occurring around the theme of a planet, it goes inward and slows down. It's a time for a period of reflection and review. So if you're pushing forward with anything that's Mercury, which is communications, you know, agreements, travel, transportation, technology devices, mechanical things, those can fail or have problems or difficulties. So it's easy to have a miscommunication with someone is the one I primarily look out for. And then also when I'm driving or using a mechanical device, I check and make sure that it's in good condition and that I'm also being extra aware and safe, so I'm not having problems. Since it rules Virgo, then it affects you and your mind a lot. Basically, there's an easy way to deal with any retrograde or any kind of challenge or opposition of the planet, which is if you find yourself freaking out, know it's a trap and don't get involved with it. Just basically don't believe it. Don't buy it. Like you can, if you see your heart getting racing and you're like, it has to be like this, that means you're getting tricked. And once you realize that, you can liberate yourself from your entire life, from that kind of situation. We want to live in an ascendant reality. It means that it doesn't mean that we're getting rid of our fears or angers or our difficulties in our lives. It means that we're ascendant, or we're kind of positioning our view above a situation so it doesn't have power over us. So we don't need to kill anything. We just need to be aware and position ourselves in a state of awareness that we can be ascendant in our experience here. So we don't become a victim of or a slave to, but we are the master of and are able to kind of navigate our lives with emotional stability. We don't want to go too low. We don't want to go too high. We don't need happiness. We need truth. At least that's my view. And I think that a natural sense of happiness comes out of that state of being. And then you can be silly sometimes. Just be aware just not to take things too far. Or don't buy the hype. Don't believe it's more than a game. don't take it too serious, I guess. Anyway, we're just hanging out. We're just hanging out. Don't judge me. All right, screen, come back. Okie dokie. All right, so now that we're hanging out, it's be interesting. Going right into Fright Night, right into Halloween, and then it's like Mercury retrograde after this period of review. So we're reviewing our reality, and then we're reviewing how we communicate, which is really interesting. It's like we're reviewing how we see ourselves, and then we're reviewing how we articulate ourselves. And to be able to articulate ourselves properly, we need to be able to kind of understand who we really are. So as strange as all this is, it kind of makes sense in some strange way. So we'll see. But I have a feeling there's been it's a period of a lot of patience. And I think that it's just a setup for something bigger. So it may be, Jesus, talk about something bigger. There's a lot going on. There's some, after Mercury retrograde ends, around November 20th, there's some planetary stuff with Jupiter that's really beautiful. And then we have there's a solar eclipse on December 22nd, 26th, something like that. And that's a real beautiful one also. So I get the feeling basically it's like all this quiet time of review, then we're kind of reviewing how we communicate after Halloween. It's Fright Night. We get into November. The first few weeks are like making sure we're not having miscommunications, like keeping things cool, keeping things chill. Then towards the end of November, the astrological influences start turning into more beneficial and easy flowing things. And then you roll into December towards the end of the year and the holiday, and it's just very beautiful trines with Jupiter. So I think there's going to be a lot of goodness coming out of all these challenging times. But then in January, we hit the Capricorn-Saturn conjunction, which is a really, really big astrological aspect. And we'll feel this personally in our lives, but this has to do with the vault of Pluto opening regarding secrets around government is the thing there. So keep your eyes open around January or ramping up to January. There should be some really interesting things coming out, some like really deep secrets coming forward. This is the same astrological influence that years ago was in the house that had to do with religion. And you saw that with the scandals with the churches and things like that. So keep your eyes open. It should get pretty interesting. But we might see some whoa in government. Just remember, don't get tricked, man. Don't buy the hype. If something's getting you all worked up, don't buy it, man. It's a trick. It's a trap. Trapdoor spider. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I lost purpose a lot in my life and my career over the years and ignored this part of me that likes to work more in this realm of intuition and storytelling and working with astrology and tarot. They always say that you should do what you would do whether you're getting paid or not, and I love this stuff, and I don't do it for pay. This isn't my career, but I've had a couple psychics tell me in the last year that I really need to be doing this, so I'm like kind of doing it kicking and screaming, but it's really nice to just start to choose to do something to take care of myself, something that's authentic for me. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate your support, and obviously liking and subscribing, all that stuff really helps get it out there, and I really appreciate it. So maybe you're discovering something that will serve your heart better and your mind better. And if you're considering something like that, I'd really encourage you to just try it. It's not easy to just, go be someone different, but to take the time to do that is like really loving yourself. So if you can, if you have a vision, man, try it. Put your neck out there. I am. All right, so let's do a little breaky here. I did something I don't ever do. I lit some candles. I lit some incense. It's nice in here. I know this light makes it kind of sterile looking, but I really love my clean place. My newly organized, clean place. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh man, look at this. Here's your first card, man. Freaking upright 4 wands, man. As you can see, it's building a foundation, and you see it's basically the 4 pillars of a home. So it's either literally a home, or meeting a partner to create a home with, or creating your own home environment. But whatever it is, it's creating that sense of structure and foundation that your heart really desires. A sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, a sense of place, a sense of identity that has a foundation that's lasting. So, all this hard work, all this reviewing, all this stuff, it's almost like cleaning out all this stuff, and then kind of almost like getting sick of the stuff that's lingering around. It's like, yeah, my place is clean, but I still have that fucking silver box from 1992 I got at Pier 1, and do I need to keep looking at that fucking thing? I looked at the sticker on it. I think I paid like $8 on sale in like 1996 or something, and I'm like, but it's metal. You can't throw it away. It's valuable. And I'm like, I don't want to look at that stupid fucking thing. So today, it was the very last thing I got rid of. It was on top of my microwave. I'm like, I don't want to get this goddamn thing out of my face. Get the goddamn corn out of my face. So I put it in my car. I'm going to go donate it. Fortunately, there's a Goodwill down the street. So anyway, so there's the nature of the reading. There's the nature of all of it. Here's the reason. Here's the purpose, right? Right, Virgo? It's like, it's like the sound of silence. When things get really quiet, there's a tiny buzz in the air. Just like if you turn up your phone or your computer and you just put it right next to your ear, listen, I'm gonna be totally quiet. Watch. It's that, dude. You figure it out. All right, and what's influencing it, what's coming across it. And then we have what's in the spiritual realms. We have what's in the subconscious realms and material realms. We have the immediate past. Oh my God. Do you know how hard it is to get on camera, after just working all day and not shaving and just being a schlep and being tired and I'm a Virgo. Maybe it's harder for other people. It's hard for me. Immediate future, okay. Your attitude towards a situation. Immediate environment. Hopes and fears. An outcome. Very interesting. Very interesting. Wow. Yeah. So it's like you're doing all the stuff to move the energy, but there's still that one little thing that won't leave you alone. Right? Oh, my computer does this where it's like it stops showing me the video, but it's still recording. Hmm. Oh. Ah. Well, I'm going to assume it's still recording. I don't know. It's just frozen on my face, looking like this. Okay. I'm just going to Hail Mary it. So let me just look over the cards a little bit. So we got home here. So it's like you feel like you haven't been good at this. You haven't been good at um, creating a foundation for yourself in the past. Maybe there's been too many ego-driven things. Maybe there's been too much play. Maybe there's been too much. Um, Maybe you're getting older. Maybe you're starting to take things more serious for whatever reason, or you've gone through enough experiences to recognize the value of really creating a foundation for yourself, and why that's important. Sometimes we can be so mental in our heads and out there and active and doing things or doing it for other people. That's another big Virgo thing. That eventually you're like, well, what about me? Like I'm tired of being the best man. I'm tired of helping you start your business. I'm tired of cleaning your house. Whatever it might be. This is can be symbolic. So just tune into what it means to you. So it's like I'm not good at this. I've squandered this in the past. I don't know how to do this, but it's like it's basically recognizing that that you're not good at this, and you're taking the steps now to start creating that. And that's what I've been doing, trying to get my stuff cleaned up and organized around here. Again, it can be symbolic in a lot of ways. Just tune into it for what it means for you. Above you in the divine realms is it's that intermediate journey I was talking about is over. It's the Six of Swords, which is the card with the woman and the child in the boat, and the man pushing them across the water. So it's like this temporary journey between two pieces of land. And it's a journey of them. The swords are mine, so it's this kind of mental journey or transient space between um, between experiences. Sometimes we have experience patience. This intermediate journey, it's upside down. The cards in reverse. So it's like it's this journey. I'll look at it as the journey ending or the end of the journey. So this kind of long drawn out quiet space has been, the journey's over. You've recognized the value of creating foundation. In the immediate past, there really just hasn't been enough pressure or need to take action. So, it's almost like the motivation ended up becoming like it came from like boredom or something. It's like you've had so much space and a lack of pressure. That you probably needed space. You probably pushed yourself too hard, and you were in this period of solitude, or you really just didn't have a lot of pressure on you to act on anything. So that gives you time to reflect. It gives you time to come to conclusions. So that's really good. It's really good to not put judgments on yourself. Sometimes we can go through periods that are more relaxed or peaceful, or there's a lot of quiet time, and that's okay. That's all needed. So in the material realms, or in your more immediate physical space, is you have the Knight of Cups. So there's this kind of new action, this new offer being brought forward that is, very, vivacious, energetic, and ready to take action. And I think that's just you. I think that's, I mean, for some people it could be others inspiring them, but something's coming forward, um, in your mind, in your presence, and who you are as a person in the physical world. You're like, I've been sitting on my ass for way too long. I've come to the conclusions. I've seen all the options. I'm ready to take action. Um, and in the immediate future, I'm going to look at these cards here because I know this is tied in a little bit to the result card. I'm trying to figure it out here. Let me tune in a little bit. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So there's something about not feeling like you have many options, or there could even be a little bit of jealousy towards what other people have. And so I think that this is where the bumps in the road can come if you're not clear in your own energy. And sometimes if we feel like we're not going to do better or we're not going to have the options, that we'll settle for something less than that's going to really fulfill us. And so we don't want to always go through those feelings of patience and waiting and sometimes the solitude that comes with it. And we can get this idea in our mind that, hey, I've been doing this thing a certain way for a really long time, and I don't really see an alternative right now, so I'll just stick with it. Like, it's better than nothing, and I probably won't get anything better anyway. So, I'm gonna stick with this. I feel safe. And I see that this point of feeling that you don't have a lot of options is dangerous in the sense that you could easily talk yourself into sticking around into a situation that you really don't need to be in. You're going through all this cleaning out, and if you just keep this is so interesting because it's so tied into my house cleaning thing. It's like, I went through all this time and energy to remove everything from my house, right? And then as I'm going through and I'm sorting through, I'm spent all this time cleaning. If every time I got an object, and I was like, oh, that's my, iPhone 3 from, wonder if I could never get another iPhone, like, oh, that's my, silicone spatula from 10 years ago. Like, I don't know, man. I think I spent like $8 on that. Like, I don't know when I have a time to do that again. Like, and it's just silly to do that because then when you're all done, you're right back where you were with a house full of shit, but you just spent 19 days cleaning it. And yeah, maybe it's less dusty, but essentially I've got all the same shit in it. So this is the message here, is this view that you don't have a lot of options. The things that you're wanting to create, this foundation you're going to want to create, this is going to take time. And this is the time to get excited about. This is a time to clean your house. This is a time to make the bed in the way that you see it in the future. This is the time to decorate the room for that partner. This is the time to, get the breakfast table that you always wanted to make hash browns and pancakes and stuff on, because you've always envisioned that would be a sense of home for you, is having that breakfast with someone else or with children or whatever it is, or, it's, putting the pool in the backyard, whatever it is that gives you that sense of structure and home. For some people, it might be just moving out and getting their own place. Maybe you're living with roommates, maybe you're still living with your parents, and this now is your opportunity to get out and start doing that. Or maybe it's just starting to envision it, so this is a time not to be like, wow, I don't really have any options. I don't have enough money to move out yet. But you can plan that over the next 3-month period. And you can also sit down and you can make a Pinterest board that's decorating your place, that is really who you are. And that time is really great because why rush into it? If you're going to fill in this, if you're going to have this blank canvas of a place, symbolically or literally, why rush it? Why not take the time and consider, what do I like to wear? I went through this years ago. I realized I like to wear cotton jeans. I like to wear organic cotton t-shirts. I like hoodies. They're comfy. I like slip-on cotton shoes, and because it just feels good when I wear them. I feel relaxed. I feel comfortable. I feel cozy. And so, but that came through a lot of time of sitting around and just kind of, it's time. So instead of rushing in this view that everything needs to be done, I need this home and this family and this foundation, this structure, and feel good and solid and secure, and this beauty, all this beautiful design now. Take the time to fantasize. Take the time to explore. Get into it. I really had to get into it with my decorations. For me, it was, bringing a lot more plants into my environment. I got this orchid over here. He's pretty. And across here, I've got a few plants here. I've got my pyramid. I've got some black onyx pyramids and cleared see-through pyramids. I've got some bells and some statues, and I think I could take it to another level. But it's just, and then also I mix that with some playfulness. I've got this kind of yellowish love seat, and I've got a kind of a green carpet rug that's kind of colorful and fun. I've got more of a mid-century table for my work area, with white and wood colors, and it's kind of, it's fun, but it's nice, it took me a long time to figure out, I like that balance between kind of serious and spiritual, and, all that stuff meets kind of playful, and, it's kind of reflects my personality. So don't start building something or moving towards something and then get discouraged and be like, oh, it's not happening. I don't really have these options. I should really just keep this shitty Tupperware set from 1989. I should really just keep this shitty, rusty bike because, who knows when I'm ever going to get that bike again and all that stuff. And then you're fucking right back where you were, but you spent 19 days cleaning your goddamn house. Don't do it. So wipe out the past, clean it out. Who cares? Plenty of open space, and start envisioning and take the time to have that tingle in your body like you were when you were young, of all the possibilities and opportunities of what you can create. And it's just slowly, day by day, take your time. Buy a little something there, buy a little something there. Be like, what's that? Maybe it's getting the right blanket, maybe you have the wrong sheets, just take your time to start creating that foundation one step at a time. And that Virgo energy is going to start to nurture it, feel nurtured and soothed and taken care of and simplified, and you'll start creating that kind of energy in your life. Blah blah blah. Your attitude about this is actually very good. It's the Ace of Swords. It's the master of the mind. So I think you've got this. Whatever you're going through right now, it's like you've already got the tools to do it. Just don't get tricked into, it's not possible and it's going this way. It's like, okay. So you're good. You have the mental strength to fully move through this process. Your environment. Your environment is new growth, new opportunities, coming out of transition. And your greatest hopes and greatest fears are that a new opportunity is going to come. So, I think that, if I tie this in with astrology, I would say that this transition period is most likely that period between Halloween and November 20th is where it's going to feel, you can easily buy into the trick or this idea that things aren't moving forward or that it's going to feel hopeless. Where are these possibilities? I don't see them. So spend the next 3 weeks in Mercury retrograde being really mindful, slowing down, taking it easy, And like I said, like just take care of yourself, have fun, like take a little time for yourself to be creative, get organized, clean, whatever you need to do. Um, and the outcome here, I want to clarify a little bit because I want to see how this ties in. And I think that what this is really boiling down to is a big decision of whether or not you're going to keep something in your life that's been convenient, or whether or not you're going to make a step and move forward. Now, sometimes you can keep something, but you can keep it under different circumstances, right? So you can keep it, but it goes into storage instead of next to your bed. You know, you can, So it's this fear of missing out on an opportunity. So whatever this is, for some people, it can be relationships, it can be dating stuff, it can be material items, it could be an old car, it could be a job. You know, it's like I just can't quite let go of something so something new can come in. And and for some people this is literally just going to be cleaning. Like I've got a storage unit that's costing me $300 a month, and it's chock full of crap, and I have to do something about it. It's that kind of energy. So symbolically, you'll know what this is for you. But that's the hang up here. The hang up is that there's this new opportunity is not going to come. And I'm telling you that it is. So, obsession, attachment to things that's never, ever, ever inflicted upon us. These are chains that we put on ourselves, and they're not even locked. We're free to move it. So, a lack of abundance. Who am I? Yeah. Rune. Yeah, so you have a fear. There's a huge fear of letting go here and trusting this process. And it's the idea that in a vacuum, something always manifests, and this is maybe a test of faith on some levels. But there's something that you're really, really holding on to, and it's mental. Let's get some more on this. Not being taken care of, not having the foundation. So it's almost as though the deep need that you have to create this foundation and this opportunity that's been presented to you to have all this space to clear things out is that deep need to have foundation is that fear itself could be getting in the way of allowing that process to happen. So, this is a matter of relinquishing a little bit of control and staying focused on being creative. And when you stay focused on being creative and you have intention and purpose behind what you're doing, it's a matter of time before it manifests. So this is a big lesson in letting go. And you might be feeling these feelings. You're like, I don't want to feel these feelings anymore. I want things to change, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So you got the Knight of Pentacles as a clarification. That means someone's going to come in. You might have a little bit of time of waiting, but someone's going to come in with a strong offer of opportunity, of stability, period. Simple as that. So that could be a partner. It could be a job. It could, it's going to come. So I don't know about the timing on all this. I mean, I feel like we're ramping up, and there's just going to be like just crosses of energy flying around between December and January. It's just going to be a real like, whoa, the plates are moving. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hopefully it's not an earthquake, but it's just like we're going up into this journey, and then it's like, boom, a lot of beauty coming in November, December, should be a great holiday and all that stuff. But then it's just like, boom, eclipses shift. We have the Pluto Saturn conjunction. We'll have some externally. I have a lot of like stuff going on in society with people around us, like, oh my God, did you hear about blah 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 and government and all this stuff. So, I mean, who knows how all this plays out, but I do know this is that you've been gifted this opportunity to walk through this process, right? And basically the idea is you don't give up when you're 70% of the way through it, because then all that time and effort that you put in, it's like buying a house and defaulting on it. You buy a house for $500,000, you put down $300,000, you pay it off, you pay off another $100,000, you only got $100,000 left or whatever, 200, $100,000 left on your house, and all of a sudden you're like, can't make a payment, So you don't want to do that because you've invested so much here. You don't want to play it safe. You don't want to be like, hey, I'll just live with it, So, this is an opportunity for you to really shine and break off these chains and see that there's a more beautiful world than this kind of stagnant, safe space where maybe you needed that for a certain amount of time because things were so unstable before. But now you have the opportunity to have a much higher expression, a much higher experience, a more beautiful experience here. So just stick with it. Get creative. Create your foundation. What is this sense of safety? What is this sense of beauty that I want to create? And don't look for it outside yourself. Look inside yourself. Look in and ask yourself, what do I like to wear? What do I like to eat? What do I like to be around when I'm in my home environment? I just created I have a patio, and I was like, I want a place to just stretch and do yoga. I'm not like a yoga weirdo. I just, I like to move my body sometimes. And so I have some little massage balls out there. And, when I redid my patio, I swept it all out and put a little rug down and a yoga mat and put some plants around it. And that's what I needed. I had to ask myself, what do I need to create to get my needs met? I need a place to do videos. So I have this little spot here. I've got my work area right next to it over here. I've got my little yoga space out there. I've got my guitars in their stands upstairs. So if I want to play guitar, I've got my rest area. I've got my eat area. I've got my restroom, and then I have all those little things. So, psychologically, that makes a really big difference. And Virgo, you've been through a lot for a long time. So give yourself the gift to explore yourself and create that foundation. All right? Well, thanks for hanging out with me. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon. I'm going to be doing a number of different kinds of videos. Some that are more informational. I do a lot of writing and stuff like that, and have some different stuff that I do. So subscribe. Would really appreciate it. And this communication goes both ways. So if you guys ever have any questions, just feel free to respond in comments. And I'm here to hang out with you just as much. So until then, I will see you later. Take care.